All right, hello everyone. In this short little video, I'm going to be introducing the next major speech assignment. It's going to be the next to last assignment of the entire semester, so believe it or not, we are actually kind of drawing near to the end. I know this semester, as unexpected as it has been, has certainly flown on by for me. In addition to it being the second to last assignment, this is actually going to be the largest assignment point-wise for the entire semester. So it's really important that we all are on the same page as far as what the specific requirements are and what I'm going to be specifically looking for. And so this assignment is the policy speech, and in many ways this is kind of what we've been building for towards the entire semester. All our skills are going to kind of come together in this assignment. I know in the informative speech, and especially in the public deliberation speech, a lot of my feedback for many of the topic proposals was that it was a little bit too persuasive, in that we were advocating too much and making too much of a specific argument. So anyone who got that feedback, you'll be happy to know in this policy speech, we're finally getting past, trying to remain as objective as possible and limit our biases. And in this speech, we're going to be making a very particular persuasive argument. So just really quick, a couple of the basic details, some of the goals and emphases that we're going to be kind of looking at in this speech. We're kind of looking at, as always, our organization. We care a lot about our overall argument and our persuasiveness. That's going to be a key part of this speech. In addition to making a clear argument, it's important to establish your own credibility as a speaker. You'll be making sure to adapt to the audience, keeping in mind everything that we've learned from the digital speaking unit and the informative speech redux assignment. And of course, if you want to, you can use a visual support. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Part of this assignment is going to be thinking about the best ways to do that. So as far as kind of like the basics of what you're actually going to be doing to achieve some of those goals and skills emphases, the first thing that is really important is you're going to choose some sort of a plan and propose a solution to some sort of a public problem. So in many ways, we are kind of engaging in some of those same public issues that we did for that public deliberation speech. Once you've chosen an issue or something to think about, you're going to describe that issue, why it's important, and particularly why the policy that you're choosing to advocate for is the best solution to that problem. So in this policy speech, you're making an argument that whatever plan or policy you've chosen, that's the best option, and here's the reasons why we should advocate for it. Additionally, you want to make sure that you're relating both the problem and the solution to the audience. So pick something that either directly affects your audience members or make the case that it's something that we should be thinking about. Again, a lot of these goals stem directly from what we did in the public deliberation speech, so nothing too different there. In addition, what I'm going to suggest and actually require is that don't come up with a policy on your own. This is a public speaking class, not necessarily a politics or public policy class. So don't feel like you need to come up with, some sort of a city plan entirely on your own. Instead, what I would recommend you do is pick a policy that either already exists or has already been proposed and then advocate for it. So if it's a proposal, you can just, argue, hey, this plan that Mr. So-and-so politician or Mrs. So-and-so senator had is a good plan, and here's all the reasons we should do it. Or you can choose something that already exists, is already implemented and in place, and then tell us why it's working, or if it's not working, what are the changes that we need to make. So again, you're making a specific persuasive argument about some sort of a public issue and why a certain policy solution is the best outcome for it. So that's kind of the broad overview. Now I want to kind of talk about some of the specific logistics of what this will actually look like when you're standing, I guess not here, but standing wherever you are giving the speech itself. So 6 to 8 minutes, this is going to be the longest assignment that we have the entire semester. If you think all the way back to those quick start speeches, we started at 2 to 3 minutes, and now we're kind of getting up into these bigger numbers here. So 6 to 8 minutes, please make sure you're within that time range. Again, since we're recording, shouldn't have too much of an issue practicing and making sure you're hitting that. For whatever you come up with, please have a minimum of 6 to 8 sources, just like the research we've done at any other point in the class. Just like always, I say 6 to 8. If you have more than 8, totally fine. If you have fewer than 6, though, you're going to start losing points there. It's entirely optional if you want to use a speaking aid. So if you want to, do something like this, have a TV in the background and put some slides up on the screen. If you want to have a virtual handout, so send out a PDF document, for instance, you're totally welcome to, but it is not required for this speech. So if you want to have a speaking aid, go for it, but make sure if you do choose to do that, that you're thinking about it purposefully to actually support whatever you're doing in the speech itself. And then what I'm going to have you do for this assignment, after you upload the video of you doing the speech, you'll post that on Canvas, and then you'll have an opportunity for everyone else in the audience to write out or type out some questions that they might have about the policy. And so for your speech, what you need to do is then pick 2 to 3 of those questions and just give us a sort of a brief written response to it. Had we been in person, we would have done a face-to-face Q&A session, and so this is kind of how we're going to simulate that. Just like on some of those public deliberation speeches that got uploaded, I will be posting a couple of questions as well, so feel free to answer my questions or feel free to answer your classmates' questions as well. And then, of course, the part that everyone cares about, the overall point value of this assignment is going to be 250 points. Remember, we have a total of 1,000 points throughout the entire class in the semester, so the policy speech alone is going to be worth 25% of your grade. What I will say is these 2 to 3 written questions that you have, responding to those won't be explicitly part of the policy speech itself. So those 250 points are the speech, the writing, kind of everything in the delivery, and then that Q&A is going to be a part of your class participation grade, both writing a couple of questions to some of your classmates and then in your own speech responding to those. So what is this going to look like? Well, we'll talk about the actual speech in the next coming days, but the first thing to think about is your topic proposal itself. And so that's going to come from page 193 in your textbook or in the template that's been posted online on Canvas. Just like always, you're going to propose 2 possible topics. In each one, what I want you to do is summarize the nature of the public issue that your policy is going to fix or address. So tell us kind of the nature of the problem, who it's affecting, the degree of the problem, so how big of a deal is this, and then how is your policy going to then address that particular problem. So tell us what your proposed solution is and kind of make that connection for us. On the topic proposal, also what I'm asking for is kind of an initial research. This doesn't have to be anything super detailed, but just give us a couple of those sources. I think I'm asking for 3, just kind of initial sources. So just listing the name of the article and the website of where that's from. I'm asking for recent sources, so recent is going to be, entirely dependent on your topic, but don't pick things from, the 1800s. Ideally, it should be something that's either ongoing currently or within the last couple of years. So these sources on your topic proposal will likely be, perhaps news articles or just kind of some descriptions of the issue. Couple of broad suggestions for you as you think about this assignment. Like I said, please pick something that's already an existing policy. Don't reinvent the wheel entirely. Your focus should be on the speech and making an argument for that policy. Make sure that for whatever policy you choose, make sure you clearly identify the need, the plan, and the practicality. So in next week's lectures, I'm going to talk about those items specifically and how you can make a strong argument with those. The most successful speeches will have these very clearly identified, and that's how you make kind of a strong policy argument. Finally, make sure you kind of think about counter arguments and potential disadvantages of your policy and address those in the speech itself. Again, in next week and the coming days of class, we'll talk about some specific strategies for that. But what I will say right now is if you give a speech that doesn't include these items, it's not going to be very successful overall. So think about all these items as you're planning and preparing and thinking about a topic. Pick a topic that's something that you care about, you can make a passionate argument for, but also something that there's enough information to make a strong case for. And then finally, a couple of more logistics, just the dates and deadlines. So the topic proposal will be due online on Canvas. That's April 10th that I will be looking over those and giving you feedback on. Your written outline then will be due on April 24th, as will the recorded video of your speech. So just like always, that recorded video will go online in a Canvas discussion post, which will get linked in one of these modules, and then the outline itself will get submitted to Canvas too. And then once you upload those videos, you'll have 1 week. After the end of that 1 week, you need to respond to 2 to 3 questions. So like I said, I'll post a couple of questions in response to your video. Everyone else in the class is also welcome to post questions. And by welcome to post questions, again, that's going to be part of your participation grade. So you have a week after you post the video to ask questions to your classmates and then respond to any questions that get raised. Again, this is a total of 250 points, so the biggest assignment of the semester. So if there are any questions, comments, or just anything that comes up as you're thinking about the topic, but then also as you're working on the speech itself, please don't hesitate to reach out to me either in the discussion post as a question for the entire class or as an individual email as well. Really looking forward to see what you all come up with, and really looking forward to seeing what the speeches and topic arguments that you come up with are. All right, take care.